So here I'm gonna start with I want to do this little prayer real quick. So I'm gonna add this to the stream. And if you're just joining and you're new, I'm Ashlyn Ray. Welcome to the group. Um, so excited to have you. I'm gonna welcome you all personally once I get like 5 minutes of time. And just reach out to everybody like I usually do. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this live. I had a really crazy kind of I guess, epiphany over the weekend. And you know what's so fun about this journey, this soft life spirituality, feminine vibe journey? Because really what it is just a journey of self, right? A journey of self-discovery, a journey of reinvention, a journey of compassion and caring. And truthfully, when you're on this journey, you just continuously learn more and more about yourself because one, we're ever changing, ever evolving beings, right? And two, as we encounter different things and experience different things, our perspectives change, our reality changes, we make new accomplishments, we have setbacks. And so that also pivots on how we feel about things. And I can also even admit that, and I'm honestly, I don't know a person who couldn't, but I can also admit that, I might have a opinion or idea about one thing or another, only to find that once I have encountered said situation, I feel differently about it because I understand that all that goes into it. I didn't know all of the information, so that's like a big thing for me about judgment. Not saying something is wrong or not, but really just not understanding all of the variables that went into that situation for you to know, for you to properly make judgment, right? And so y'all make me wonder if I'm in the right damn group. Hold on, y'all. Okay, I am. All right, because I was like, dang. All right. So it's like you don't have all of the information to make a sound decision or have sound judgment. And it's funny because speaking of how like it's so, I love how we black girls say it's funny how, and it's never funny. Like it's never funny. But one thing about it, they say that the only judgment that is true and real is God's judgment because he is all knowing and can see all, right? And so when we make judgment, when we pass judgment on somebody, we are basing that solely off of the information that's presented to us in our time space reality, and not, we don't know all the factors, we don't know the backgrounds of all of the people involved or any of the things that go along with that. And so that's why I think this epiphany or this realization came, and it just kind of smacked me in the face because it's like, whoa, Ash, like what the fuck, you think you're changing and growing and evolving, and you literally just realize that, hey, you like the what is it, you get into the splinter out of somebody else's eye when you got the log in yours. So yeah, I very much realized that that's exactly what I was doing. And you think after all that evolving and all that therapy and self-help and meditating and all of the millions of things we do to keep our vibes high, to have no stress, to not resist, to be aligned, to be in tune, you would think, but that's what's so amazing about the journey, right? The journey of self-discovery, the journey of self-love is that we get to continue to peel back the layers and learn more and more and more about ourselves, as well as spread that to other people. You really offer a different perspective and insight to others when you have gone through these things yourself. So without further ado, I want to get into it, but I do want to start with this quick prayer. So if you are here with me, I just want to spread some love and light to you guys. Just get quiet, and I'm just going to say this with us all. So I love this girl. She's this picture I got out of the Canva photo dump. She's just everything. I love her. So I use her in a lot of my slides. Okay. So we're talking about surrender here, right? We're talking about surrender because one thing about it is everybody wants to manifest. We all want what we want right now. We want to desire, and We want to reach our desires right now. And the truth is that in order for us to attract those desires, we have to be completely 100% aligned with those desires. We have to be completely aligned with the vibrations we want to get back out. And because we are not fully in surrender, we're not fully willing to witness the magic of the universe and vibes, we are in resistance and we are in lack, right? Because if we want something real bad, then we're in lack. And y'all know I say that a million times, So let's go. So today I surrender my goals and plans to the care of the universe. I offer up my agenda and accept spiritual guidance. I trust that there is a plan far greater than mine. I know that where there was once lack and limitation, there are spiritual solutions and creative ideas. I surrender my desires and expectations, and I pray for the highest good for all. I am ready to learn through love and have you guide my steps. Universe, thank you for supporting me. I wish you guys all the love and light. Let's go ahead and get into the lesson. All right. So I actually do a workshop called but it's so funny because that's on me, baby, as you're about to learn. We're actually going to have a workshop for this. It's coming up pretty soon. And actually, I have an announcement to do. So I'll do it tomorrow, the announcement, or maybe I'll do it at the end of this. Stay to the end and I'll do it at the end. Also, I do have some goodies to offer you guys if you want them. Let's check these comments. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey. Hey, hey. So if you guys are just joining, I did say that I'm on StreamYard, so I can't see you guys' comments. So I apologize in advance. But yeah. Okay. Let's go. Y'all already know who I am, okay? I'm Ashlyn Ray. Well, y'all might be some new people up in here. So as you guys know, I'm a speaker, I'm an author, NLP practitioner, EFT certified coach, ringleader of the Brown Girls Billionaire Gang, creator of the French 47 Collective, which is a membership for spirituality and personal growth that I'm so excited to tell you about. I told y'all early, didn't I? Brunch Bay Forever, Auntie Cognac Connoisseur, Taco Addict, and y'all know I'm Rick Ross's baby mama for real. Okay. So you will get something from this if you have been in repeat toxic relationships, commitment frustrations. And by the way, when I say relationships, I'm not even talking about like just intimate relationships, like all relationships. If you attract unemotionally available men or women, I should have slashed that. Sorry for my my bisexual and lesbian crew. Unable to enjoy the moment, sacrificing your plans, yourself, your desires for others. If you're resentful, or constantly on the defense, any of these symptoms and situations, then you should get something out of this training. So I hope that this hope this serves you as it did me. All right. So we have these stages that we go through. And I'm actually struggling with this right now because in the Do Say Diet, the beta group, the beta program, those girls are wonderful, by the way. And I will see you guys tonight at 8 in our live coaching session. So super excited about that. But as I'm trying to package all of my information into this very neat, small, processed, digestible way, right? For them to get all that I can pack into this program, I'm finding that there's way too much to put in this program, right? So because of that, I'm realizing that there are lots of different situations and things that are taking place. So as I'm going through and trying to figure out the order of the steps and the stages that I need to present to them and in what order and what tools, because I have to think back to my journey, right? From way, 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 way back. Like you guys, I have been studying religion, spirituality, communication, relationships and things like that since I was 16. Like I have to tell y'all this story real quick. I literally saved up $46 when I was 16 to get my first effective communication and relationships book. I was 16. I caught the bus to Barnes and Noble and got this book, and it was like yay thick, right? It was this yellow book, hardback, hard cover textbook, And I was so excited to get into this book. Like I was so excited about it. Like I'm a complete nerd. But I had, Bibles and concordances and all these things. And I would like be cross referencing and figuring everything out and connecting the dots. And that's really what brought me to realize that like everything is connected in this world. Like everything is connected in this world. Really, it is. And so as I'm going through trying to figure out, how do I put this in a order that progresses them through the program to get results? Because I in this capacity, I usually work with one-on-one clients. And this is a group program that I'm working on right now. So I need to be able to progress everybody. That means they're going to have different backgrounds, different levels, different phases of the journey that they're in, right? And so I want to talk to you guys about those 5 kind of steps that I kind of had this epiphany about where you go and how you get through from like things happen to you all the way to like that morph of transcendence where you just can't be knocked out of the vortex if a 757 hit your ass, okay? Because that's really where you need to get to in order to fully live out your potential, find your passion, whatever that is, or your purpose, whatever that is, and be passionate about it and just really show up for yourself, okay? And not only show up for yourself, but like inspire and impact the people around you too. Honestly, like when you get to that level, you don't even, it's so funny because you start out with this desire. You start on this journey because you have a desire. You start on this journey because you want to accomplish something. And as you work through the journey, you start to realize that thing that you wanted so bad is like less and less important because all of the other good things that came along as you work through this. So it's like amazing. So in the beginning, things happen to you, right? And you have these thoughts, why do they keep taking advantage of me? Oh, he fumbled the bag. Oh, she's just, she's not grateful. She's not appreciative of the things I do for her. And all of these things are inherently connected to one another, right? Ooh, I just realized I didn't change. Okay, never mind. These things are all inherently connected, right? These are all coming from your lack. And the reason I say this is because you can't see it in this phase, right? You cannot see that you have control over what's happening to you in this phase because your reality is very much skewed, it's very blurry, and it's covered by your rejection and your disappointment, and it's covered by your setbacks and how you were raised and like all these things. And so at some point, if you want to evolve, if you want to grow, if you want to have reach self-awareness and actualization and transcendence, at some point you have to realize that we're responsible for everything in our lives. And before anybody goes off the deep end, no, I am not. I'm talking about what we are in control of. Okay, not we're in control of our attitude, we're in control of our perspective, we're in control of our actions, things that we can have domain over. Okay. So if something terrible happened to you, no, you didn't cause a person to harm you. How you go forward, that's on you. But that actual action, no. So don't take it that way. I'm not saying that, like something tragic happened to you and it was your fault. But we are responsible for everything in our lives. And for me, what I realized was that I used to have this really rosy view of everything where it was like, oh, no big deal. Oh, this person did this thing. Oh, yeah, no big deal. Whatever. It's all good. Um, I'm fine. I'm so happy. And in all honesty, that level of bliss was probably the best ever. And in some ways, I wouldn't be mad to go back into that because you know how once you see something, you can't unsee it. And so once I started to lean more toward I felt like kind of to a more of a victimization stage, more of a what's happening right now stage. And so as I started to learn more and reach and built friendships with other people and realized that these things weren't just happening to me, I kind of felt validated, like, oh, because I'd have friends or somebody who might hear a story like, yeah, you're right. They did this thing, with therapy. Yeah, they did this thing. You have every right to feel that way. And I would start to confuse the feeling of experiences and the emotions as validation of the tantrum that I'm sharing, right? Or I'm having, right? So what I had to learn was that it didn't excuse me from being reactive. Okay, because what actions are you taking next? So I want to tell you this story because I know that the title of this was, oh, I didn't even give y'all the real title. So the real title of this was actually I blamed men for treating me shitty. So I'm not sure why that's not actually what showed up. But anyways, I want to explain how I got to that. So I wonder, is this going to change? I'm going to see. Okay, perfect. It didn't. It didn't change. So that means I can tell you guys what I wanted to tell you. Cool. This is awesome. I didn't know I could do this. All right. So, so the breakthrough went on like this. So I started to do Say Diet last week on the new moon on Tuesday. It has been a complete crazy thing with the technology. I had to change platforms. The ladies were patient with me. I appreciate that so much. But as I'm going through this, I'm still doing my own work, right? And so I have my own spirituality person or accountability person. I do my own thing mostly, but then I have like somebody to bounce things off with. And I still do my own self therapy. I do my actual therapy. Like I don't play about this whole evolution situation, okay? Because I need to protect my vibe at all rates. I need to make sure that I'm protecting my vibe so that I am presenting to the world what I want to bring back in. And for me to do that, I got to have armor, baby. So here we are. um, so literally everything we desire in our life that we do not have is because of our own actions or blocks. So like I said, I do the workshop, Soul Tie Detox. And where did I go? Like, what the fuck? This is so crazy. Okay. So I was going through and I'm doing my protector therapy, right? And so the concept of the protector therapy is that you suffer from shame and guilt as your personality develops, as you grow based on whatever experiences you had, and you have these protectors who jump out and they're like the person who protects you from being hurt again. And so the protector that I was dealing with at this time, I had like a mini meltdown that weekend, and I called a person that I wanted to speak with, and like he's a person that I deal with, and um, his response was just like not what I not what I needed it to be, right? I needed attention, I needed to be babied a little bit, I needed to be validated, right? And granted, everything we need is inside of us, but I for a moment I kind of slipped out of that. I wanted another person to be in my circle and feel similar with me. I wanted to feel loved and I wanted to feel like I belonged. And at the time, my feelings didn't allow me to articulate that. And the person was just not very nice. Was just not very nice. And so it dawns on me that all of the people that I have dealt with the exception of a few, are these emotionally unavailable kinds of people? Well, first of all, I was unemotionally available for a very long time. I had determined to, I called, for me, self mastery was taking all of my feelings, balling them up, shoving them all the way down, putting a lid on that motherfucker, and welding it shut so that I didn't have to express any feelings for any reason to anyone. And it got so bad that I was literally uncomfortable to be touched or affectionate in any way outside of just like, wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Right. And for that reason, it was very, I wanted them to give me something that I couldn't give, that I wasn't willing to give. I wasn't willing to really open my heart to really see if something was even going to work. I wasn't willing to be vulnerable. I wasn't willing to be there for somebody. I wasn't willing to change anything about my schedule or my lifestyle in order to accommodate anyone. I just wasn't. And I had decided that that was because I had worked very hard to have this persona and to be successful and achieve things and show up a certain way, and that I was most important, and there's no way that I could make any exceptions for any people in my life. And if I wanted to interact with you, then I needed to know up front so that I could schedule it, so I could da 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 da. And I feel like there's probably a lot of people in this group that feel the same way, that or has experienced this in some way. And it was like very a very hard pill to swallow once I realized that I was like that hard, you know? I was that hard. And it went from being bitter, from being taken advantage of and treated badly, to taking matters into my own hands, and my fear of rejection and my shame turned into my superpower in order for me to be like great, right? And so the more I did that, the stronger it got, the worse it got. And then it becomes where like you don't even know something's wrong, because you just know you're achieving and you're moving and shaking and shit's going sweet for you for the most part. But then you have that one area. So real quick, while I'm even thinking about this, people be like, oh, I want to be abundant. I want to be abundant. I want to be abundant. Mostly when people say abundant, they mean money. They mean wealth. They don't necessarily mean love. I mean love, but most people mean money. And what I found out was, I was like, because I'm like, I want love, I want love, I want a relationship, but I'm not love. Like I'm not love, but I'm looking for it, right? So I want you to give me something I can't give you. So also going for, I grew up with like a kind of a authoritative dad, authoritarian. I always say that wrong. But he's kind of like a dictator in the house and stuff. And he wasn't very kind to my mom when it came to her feelings and stuff. And so I was determined to not date a person who I felt was could not handle my emotions and be kind to me, right? But I also wanted them to embody the other stuff that my dad had, right? So, meaning, be a protector, be strong, be stoic, be stern, be able to make a decision, be a leader, be a pillar of whatever community they were a part of. And I said I wasn't going to date these type of people, and then I perpetually chased down those exact type of people. So like I don't get to like say, oh, I want all these things, but I don't want this part. You know what I mean? So if you're going to love somebody, if you're going to accept them for who they are, then you got to accept all the stuff. It doesn't mean they don't grow or evolve. It doesn't mean that you don't move in a direction together and grow together. But something that was said to me at that I cannot remember where I heard this from, but like I live by this. If you cannot look at that person right now, if you cannot look at this person right now and determine that if nothing changed about them exactly as they are right now, then you're not, that person isn't for you. And you shouldn't date that person, or like, I mean, you can be friends with people or whatever, but not date them. Because if nothing changed from this day forward, is that now going to be resentful, or is that going to be in resentment going forward if you grow and they don't? So I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry, I'm not doing well with this articulation right now, but essentially what happened was I started to tap into my feelings and tune into my feelings. And it's so funny because I've always been so spiritual. And so to be so blind to the fact that I wasn't giving love is just insane. I've never experienced, I never have known love without having to do something for it, or to do something to show it. And I'm learning that, and I'm working through that. But love, you just love. You don't have to be something to be loved. And while love is an action verb, it's because you're actively loving someone. It doesn't mean that you have to physically do a song and dance to show it or get it. So, okay, let me run through this because I got to be on an 8:00 call. So, hello. Oh, Lanita, your name came up. I wonder how that happens. Hello. So, what I'm saying is that when I acted, as I grew, as I evolved, and then the man that I'm dating didn't catch up, right? He didn't evolve with me. Like I wanted him to do it on my time when I realized it. And now I'm mad at him because he didn't evolve with me. When instead I need to, again, date someone who is exactly already the way that I want them to be. All right. So I just want to lay that there. Okay. So, boom, you realize, hey, I am responsible for the things in my life that I can control. And if I haven't taken those next actions, and the reason I'm laying this down is because the next guy I date, right, is the same in a similar manner. I've sought out the same stoic leader who doesn't show a lot of emotion and expression, and he's the pillar of the community and whatever the fuck else, right? And I've sought him out and I got him, and now I'm mad that he doesn't want to communicate with me in a way that I need. But this is the type of person that I sought out. So I can't blame him for being shitty to me. He's being exactly who he is, that he was when I met him. Right. So let me just move forward. So then you realize, okay, boom, you're responsible for it. So what do you do about it? Right. And the next step, it takes you to preventing things from happening. So when you're in this phase of this evolution, you start preventing things from happening, right? So things are happening to you, you realize it's in your control, and now you want to prevent this shit from continuing to happen. And so now you're always on the defense and you start manipulating situations, right? You shame the person for not being up to your standards or your expectations or whatever. And it's not in a malicious way. You're literally, your feelings are hurt. You're coming out of need and you're saying, shame on you for not being here for me or acting in a way that I need it. And then you feel guilty for manipulating the situations. And now you're judging them, you're judging you. And what's so crazy is when you manipulate these situations, when you're on the defense, when you're shaming, all those things that you're putting out, you are doing to yourself. Like, we are literally reflecting from in here. So you're shaming them for not being who you need them to be, but you're also shaming yourself because you feel ashamed that you need the thing or that you didn't make the right choice. Right? So, and this can be applied to anything in life. This is not just in an intimate relationship. You're on the defense. You're manipulating. I've done this to my loved ones, to people who I felt like weren't showing up for me, but I never communicated what I needed to begin with. Right? I never gave them a chance to show up in the way that I needed them to be. Or maybe they had a different experience and they handled it a different way, and I'm judging them, but I don't know all of the nuances. I don't know all the background information. Maybe they were ashamed to tell me what was going on for real. And now I'm judging. And I'm judging because I thought they should do it the way that I thought they should do it because of whatever my experiences were. Right? And now I'm not being forthcoming and honest because I'm manipulating the way that the situation comes out so that I'm not hurt or affected by it. So then you finally realize, because what happens is when you start doing that, you start changing your behavior, you start changing your schedule and your opinions, or holding your opinions in, because you are wanting to not rock the boat, but also not be hurt. And now what happens is now you're lying to yourself, and truthfully, you're being lazy because you're not taking accountability for how you're being treated. And the resentment gets greater. So you continue to hold it in. Right? And it gets worse and it gets worse and it continues to pile up. And who do you take it out on? Probably somebody who doesn't deserve it. Yourself. Because you don't deserve it either. You don't. You're supposed to hold space for yourself. You would never tell yourself tell your friends and loved ones some of the things that you tell yourself. Right? And so after enough of that happens and that resentment starts to boil up and you finally say enough is enough and you cry uncle, that is where you are strong enough and have enough courage to get uncomfortable. Because here's the thing, boundaries are compassion and boundaries are love. But boundaries, as much as they are needed and are essential to the way that we live, to be in the vortex, to show up for our loved ones, it is hard to enforce, not only with others, but also with ourselves. Because there's been plenty of times that we've set boundaries for ourselves that we definitely 100,000% have faltered on. right? And the thing is that if you're not willing to be uncomfortable in order to protect yourself, to set a parameter for you to lovingly interact with the people you want in your life, then you have to ask yourself, what need are you fulfilling for yourself? And if that and that sounds confusing as shit, so let me explain. So what I mean is, if you're not willing to be uncomfortable to let them know what's happening, there is still a lack that you're operating from that you are fulfilling. So that means you're probably scared. You don't want to be rejected or abandoned. You don't think they might not like these boundaries, right? What if you set the boundaries and then you don't follow through with the boundaries and now you're a failure, right? So what need are you fulfilling? And by neglecting yourself through all this, you are disconnected from your intuition. You're connected from your divine self. You are disconnected. I'm saying connected. You are disconnected from your intuition. You're disconnected from your divine self. And truthfully, truth be told, to really live in that space, to be in that space, you got to be tapped in, tuned in, and turned on. You got to know exactly where you are on the spectrum here. Like, you need to be able to be sitting in the grass and feel one single blade of it move across your foot. Like, you need to be able to know that, to feel that difference. And so if you are fighting to keep your boundaries, then you are not going to be tuned in enough for that. Not going to be sensitive enough to it. Right? So you got to get uncomfortable. You got to set the boundaries. Boundaries, I say, they are love. They are love for you and they are love for that person. Because if you are not resentful of that person, if you are not judging that person, if you are not shaming that person, then you can love that person. Your overflow can be love. And now everybody's happy. At least until the next thing comes and pisses you off. Somebody eats your lunch or something. Right? So once you get uncomfortable and you set these boundaries, what happens is you morph into self-accountability. And this is where the transcendence happens, because this is the unshakable vortex. This is where you are showing up as you desire. You no longer have to be resentful or set these super uncomfortable boundaries, because you're not even attracting the people, places, or things that need that kind of policing. Okay, like the people that will be coming into your vortex now, at this point, they're probably trying to learn something from you, or you're going to learn from them. This is not a level high. Bleh, vibrating at this level is not a place where you have to be, you know what I'm saying, throwing bows. Like, you literally, at this point, you are mixing and mingling and meshing and growing and evolving and revolving and doing all kinds of really cool shit, because you are showing up as you desire. Therefore, what you attract are your desires. And now everything comes to you with ease. Did I tell you guys I manifested $2,900 this month? Fucking excited. Fucking excited. So happy. And it wasn't something I desired. I mean, I guess I did subconsciously. I don't know. But I was like, whoa, thanks. Fuck yeah. That was great. Some of the things that people talk about, I don't even come in contact with that shit. I'd be like, people do that for real? Oh my God. And I remember doing that before I really was like vocal about, how I roll. And I'd be like, people be talking about the stuff they see on their timeline or who they came across or whatever. And I'd be like, damn, I don't even know people who do shit like that. But you know what? I found out when I had that, when I went through my hero's journey and I fell to the deepest, darkest parts of my heart. I learned it then, because I was vibrating low as hell. And the lower I vibrated, the more low vibrating bullshit I pulled in. And I saw all kinds of things that I'd never seen before. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this section of the world exists. But it does. But if you vibrating so high and you never have to come down, you'll never see it. You'll never know it. It won't concern you. So I guess the moral of the story, the moral of the story is literally, you have the all of the control to own your vibe. You have all of the control to date and engage with people who give a damn about how you feel. First, you just got to show up aligned in the manner that you want to attract. Number one. So, what that means is your side of the street clean? Are your skeletons cleared out? Have you done an emotional body scan? How are you showing up? How are you presenting? And I'm not saying this is not a blame game. Like I'm not saying you're guilty. What I'm saying is if you're attracting people who drain you and take advantage of you, do you need to be taken advantage of to feel loved, to feel like you belong, to feel needed? And if that's the case, that's your homework, that's your work. And when you work on that and you fix that and now you're whole again, you patch that up, now you can attract people who don't need to take advantage of you for them to survive. You attract people who want to be around you for your it's the wrong okay. You attract people who want to be around you, for your soul, for what's in here. So that's all I got for tonight. I gotta go, you guys. I got a 8 o'clock coaching and group coaching call. You guys, I'm so excited about Tuesday diet. It's oh my god, it's so cute. It's so cute. I wanted to share what it looks like. Ooh, can I share what it looks like with you guys? Do I have let me see. Share screen. Oh, wait, I don't want to share my whole screen. Okay, all right. I guess I can't do that. Oh, maybe I can do my loom. Okay. I don't know. Whatever. We'll do it tomorrow. Ooh, I'll just pop in tomorrow randomly maybe and do it. But it looks so good. It's so amazing. I have other stuff coming up, and the French Collective, the French 47 Collective membership is coming out very soon. Very a very accessible for everyone. I'm so excited about it. And there are perks. Okay, super dope, amazing perks. But I have to tell my group coaching program about it first because they get first dibs because they my A1 day ones, right? So, anyways, I wish you guys all the love and light. I will. Oh, I said I had something for you. I created a boundaries journal planner, like a walkthrough thing. Journal planner, you can call it whatever you want. But if you guys want that, if you comment that you want it, I'll send it to you. Okay. But I actually created it as a part of the Do Say Diet as a test run, but I want to share it with you. So if you want it, I'll send it. Okay. All right. That's it. Love and light. Talk to you guys later. Bye.